Good morning. It is Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. It is 6:41 a.m. in my locale. As you can see, I have the light on over here underneath the camera, so a little orange, but I am kind of tan, so if I look at my hand and my arm, right there, tan, not tan, maybe that's a good reflection of our color, I guess. All right, it is currently 80 degrees. It is overcast. The weather's calling for a little rain this morning, which is fine because it's the wet season here in Florida, so it's always going to rain and sometime today. So let's go directly to our daily Zen poem, which is a little long, so I'm just going to warn you. This mind has from the very beginning been independent of birth and death. It is neither green nor yellow, without form or characteristic. It does not belong to either existence or nothingness. It cannot be reckoned with as either young or old. It is neither long nor short, neither large nor small. It transcends all limitations, words, and traces. It is just this very thing. If you stir a thought, you miss it. It is like empty space, without limits, beyond conceptualization. It is only this one mind that is Buddha, and Buddha is not different from sentient beings. Huang Po died in 850 AD. It's pretty deep for a Wednesday. You know, he's talking about, as far as I can see, it's your mind is, it isn't born, it doesn't die, it is. And in Buddhism, that is a very important thing of the concept of it is. It's also very, very important in Hinduism. Okay, there's a concept of just it is. Well, what was there before? There was nothing before. Well, what was after? Well, there is nothing after. It is. It's a concept of being in 1 second and eternity at the same time. It's very, very hard. I still have a struggle trying to pull it all together. But if I start thinking about my mind when I was 20, and my mind when I was 30, and 40, and 50, and beyond, you know, it really doesn't have a form. It's all just one thing. It just shifts and changes based on both life experience and the environment that I am in. And after what has happened to me, oh baby, let me tell you, my mind has changed drastically from where I was. I was just having a conversation with somebody else. 30 years ago, about 25 years ago, I was in a big Victorian house in a Norman Rockwell town, and everybody knew each other, and you could walk the kids to school and take the dog, and, you know, you'd have your doors unlocked. And now I'm in absolute remoteness and still trying to figure out how to get a little further out, because I still have that scent of corporate America, that whole idea of watching people get rewarded for nothing and the hard work gets nothing. So trying to figure out how to get out of that space. This is a good space to be, but it is. Who knows what's going to happen 5 years from now? You know, will I be out in a remote place, as self-sufficient as possible, going to town once a week just to pick up groceries and supplies, and then getting my butt back to where I can just be left alone to run a fence, to plow a field, to build a shelf? Who knows? To me, right now, that sounds brilliant. But tomorrow, that may be the reality that we have. Maybe not. I'm a little interested to see where our mind's going to go if we don't think about it as, I was a toddler, no. It's an entire one big thing, and I am just in this little spot in this one big thing. And the more, as I said, if you stir the thought, you miss it. The more you think about it, the more you miss it. So it's just living in that experience that is going to get us from where we are to where we're going to be. I also hear the words, don't really worry about it. Just live, do, and everything else just kind of falls away and takes care of itself. I like that whole basic concept that seems to be behind that. I don't know if you see it. If you do see it, let me know in the comments. If you don't see it, let me know in the comments. All right, let's go over to our daily roomful. We've pulled that one before. I think that is quite fitting with the poem we just got. I love that it all just falls together without any effort. That is called the unknowable. It says, and I'm going to summarize it. Blank in the end, blank in the beginning, the rune of total trust, as exciting evidence, your most immediate contact with your own true destiny, which comes again and again, like the phoenix in the ashes we call fate. Now, this could mean there's a death somewhere, but that death is a symbolic death, not so much of actual death. It could be related to any part of your life you're living now. Giving up control is the ultimate challenge for the spiritual warrior. And the answer is yes. I'm in charge. I'm in control. When you have to just take your hands off the wheel, it is very, very challenging for people like me. Maybe very easy for people who are watching this. They might just say, oh, that's fine. Just go. Very challenging for people like me because I want to create my life. I want to create my experiences. I don't want to just leave it up to something else and then hand it to me, because that means I may have to accept something I don't want. Okay, this is the unknowable. It is in motion in your life. Its blankness is held undiluted potential. It is both pregnant and empty. It is neither green nor yellow without form or characteristic. It does not belong to either existence or nothingness. See how it falls together? Matter is hidden by the gods. It surfaces your deepest fears. Will I fail? Will I be abandoned? Will it all be taken away? Your highest good, your truest possibility, and all your fertile dreams are held within that blankness. Everything in that blankness is everything. It is all the success, all the failure, all the everything. And yeah, you can be afraid. Even Mike Tyson said, once you get past fear, there's nothing, right? So, willingness and permitting are what this rune requires for how can you exercise control over what is not yet in form. You ain't there yet. Who said don't go further than you've already gone? It might have been Ralph Blum, or it might have been Joseph Campbell, but all right. The blank rune calls for an act of courage and the empty-handed leap into the void, drawing it as a direct test of faith. The blank rune represents the path of karma, the sum total of your actions and their consequences, which you always must accept those consequences. At the same time, the rune teaches that those debts of old karma shift and evolve as you shift and evolve. True. You think of karma as having to work off something, and that's totally true, because if you did something good in the past and you're having good results, and you do something bad and maybe you're not having the results you wanted, by doing more good things, you will have more good results. That's called karma shift. And I think it's more perceptual. I think it's more about saying the following phrase: the way I view it is the way it goes. So if I'm having a good day, the things around me are pretty good. Even if they're not great, they're still pretty good. If I walk into the room and I go, this stinks and it's awful, I'm going to have a bad day. Every person that I encounter is going to give me trouble. Every piece of equipment I touch is going to have a small problem. It is very perceptual. So when I walk out that door over there, my first thing is I try to get rid of all of my expectations and perceptions. Do I expect these people are out there are going to help me? No. Do I expect they're going to like me? No. Do I expect that the ground's going to be solid? No. I'll find out when I touch it. I have learned that the world of no expectations leads you to a place of very few disappointments. Because then when somebody does disappoint you, instead of saying, but I expected you to, I just look and I go, well, I figured that it would have been nice, but my expectation was you were going to help you and not me. That's about the furthest I got. But my expectation for you is that I don't have any expectations for you. I have expectations, and I try to keep my expectations for me real low. You ought to try that. Next time you talk to somebody, look them straight in the face and have absolutely no expectations. Are they a good person? Are they a bad person? Are they going to help you? Are they going to hurt you? Look them right in the face and just go, you're this figure. You're this piece of protein moving oxygen around. What are my expectations for you? I don't have any. Makes it awful easy to say the most important word, which is no. So keep that in mind too. If you don't have any expectations for somebody, you also don't have any expectations for yourself to help them. Encourage them. You don't. You don't have that. That's beautiful. To me, that's beautiful. Because expectations are appointments with disappointments. And that was Arthur Schopenhauer. So let's see. Wherever you draw the blank rune, take heart that the work of self-change is progressing. And that is the most important change that you can have, is self-change. Because you are the only person you can change. Did you have the expectation you could change somebody else? How'd that go? Yeah, that's what I thought. Even the person I love the most in the whole world, do I have the expectation that she's going to get better? I want to say I don't. And the other one, as I say, that becomes wishes and fishes. It is, it's going to happen. But, we have to be patient, and our expectation has to be no expectation. We have to wait. And we have to go on doing our things until we realize that those people that have been, and mainly, let's face it, they're people who are now dealing with high levels of imposed mental illness, at some point in time are going to get better. I wouldn't hold my breath, and I wouldn't build a boat on it, but I would say there's nothing wrong with having no expectations and moving forward in your day to as happy, as peaceful, and as successful as possible. Little book. Oh, index. Oh, we pulled the same one we did before. We're going to have to fan these pages, or I'm going to have to get another copy of the book. We do have about 3 copies of this book. All right. Those that the ancients referred to as excelling at warfare conquered those who were easy to conquer. Their victories were not marked by fame for wisdom or courageous achievement, but they were free from errors. One who is free from errors directs his measures towards certain victory, conquering those who are already defeated. Okay. I guess doing things the best you can and, thinking things out, maybe you won't make mistakes. So we let them make the mistakes, and then we just walk right over them. And that's kind of comforting, too. I'd be nice if we could win without fighting. Wouldn't that be nice? But let's talk about other things that are nice. Come here. Come here. Come here. I know. Your obligatory case of you. He's going to yawn. He's going to snort. He's going to big snort. Anything else? Because you're getting ready for breakfast? There we go. There you go. All right, so let's pull it all together for our Wednesday. The poem talks about things that are endless and timeless. And they both exist and not exist at the same time. That concept of duality we were talking about before. Okay, so it's this big, formless thing that just is. The rune talks about how that big, formless thing is unknowable, and how it holds both all of our fears and all of our successes all in one place simultaneously. And the book tells us that if we think and work well, we can move forward by not making mistakes to be victorious and roll right over those useless eaters and zombies that are out there and just walk right over them. So the whole thing up and down tells me formless, timeless. You don't have to define it. And you don't have to define that unknowable thing. What you have to do really is think very well. That's our little book. Think very well. Try not to make as many mistakes as possible. Walk out there with no expectations. Have a task. have a project, have something to do, even if it's just get a cup of coffee. Don't expect that if you live with other people, don't expect they're going to do dishes. Don't expect there's even going to be coffee there. Walk into that space completely wide open and see what's there. You may be pleasantly surprised, but you will never be disappointed. And that is the big kicker possible. You know, I was always called a negative. My mother called me a realist, okay? And that's because, you know, I would rather just call it as I see it, just like she did. And oftentimes it is, you know, if it doesn't go the way I'm thinking, I am pleasantly surprised. What a bonus, what a gain. If it does go the way I'm thinking, well then I was prepared for it. And now I know how to move around it. You have to do it your way. Okay, your mileage may vary. Please consult your owner's manual. But this is getting a little long in the tooth because I got to get in the shower and feed the big guy. So let's try it. Time to sign off the right way. If you don't help yourself, nobody else will. Thanks, Mom. Are they like-minded? Do they share your values? Do they have something to offer? Or no means down the road you go. You're not tribe. So today, my hope, and that's an expectation for you, is that you're going to grab that unknowable. You're going to stop the hamster wheel of the planning and the everything else, and oh my God, the people are bad, and what's on the TV, and now what's the next boycott, or just turn around and just go, nah, I'm not part of any of that. I'm just here for a cup of coffee. I'm just here to do my job. I'm just here to go to work. Do you have to be invested in it? I guess if as invested as your time is. You can be having fun doing it, but as long as you're invested as far as your time is, then that's the only investment you really need to give it, because it's still your time, it's still your life, and you're still walking every minute into an unknowable, a world of possibilities that will get shrunk down to an actuality, and then you will know, using correct thought, how to walk over that and succeed. And that's what you should do today. You should succeed. Sorry, it got a little deep and philosophical. Hopefully not too dark for everybody, but hey, it's Wednesday and it is overcast, so have a great day. See you tomorrow. Oh, and I'll see you guys tonight at 6.